Hello, everyone. This is Casey Zeetman coming to you from my Online Business Toolkit. This week on my Online Business Toolkit, we are going to discuss creating a product. The first week, we talked about deciding what you're going to do online, discovering your niche. What are you going to do when you come online? Many of you have made the choice of coming online with a business, but some of you may not have totally decided what it is you are actually going to do. Maybe some of you have said, "Well, I just want to. I know I want to make money. That's what I want. That's what I want. I know that's what I want." So what I asked you to do last week was create a list of the things that you think you might be good at, or that you might be passionate about, or sub-passionate about, so that you can take that and apply that list to your online presence. Okay, and so once you've done that, once you've decided, now you're going to create a product. Okay, and so this week we're going to talk about how you go about doing that. Okay, so that's the first question. How do we create a product? Well, my suggestion is if you do have a passion about something and you know what you're going to do online, then you just write original content that comes from the heart. And there's various things you can do to amplify the quality of the work that you're doing. You could do research and find various sources that give you inspiration, such as articles, blogs, forum posts, videos. There's several things out there that you can use as references in creating your original content. It's almost like writing a book report. You use them as references to find your own words. Okay. Now, a lot of us, we might be in a position where we feel like, well, I can't write original content. I'm not a writer. We think we can't be. We feel like we just don't have the quality of a writer. And I have to say, and if you'll read what I wrote here, well, I will first say you have it in you. Okay, that's very true. If your niche is something that you're familiar with, then your content should flow naturally. If it's your passion, then yeah, it should even more so. You should know what you're writing about. I had a friend over last night, and he's a guitarist, and what he likes to do sometimes on his guitar is tweak it to make the sound better. He can adjust the neck and he'll mess with the strings and by the way, I don't know much about guitars, so I don't know the technical names of all these things, but he'll mess with it and tweak the wood and he'll do all these things with it. And it's and I was saying, well, why do you do that? He said, well, because I'm trying to find the best sound possible. And I said, you should write a book about that. And he was like, oh, no, I can't write. I don't have the ability to write this down. I don't know the technical jargon of all of this stuff that I'm doing, that I'm tweaking on my guitar. Excuse me. And I said to him, why do you feel like it has to be technical jargon? Why can't it be from your own words? Because he is the best at what he can do. Okay. Now I know that sounds ridiculous because yes, we are all the best at what we can do, but there's a larger meaning in that. If you are good at something, all you have to be is as good as you are, and then allow yourself to express how good you are, or the quality the level of quality that you're at, because other people are at that same level. If he writes his ebook about, well, this is what I do to make this sound. I like a sound that's darker, that's twangier. Once he's making descriptive things like that, and he says, I go in and I adjust the neck and I use this kind of screw. That might not necessarily be the technical jargon that experts know. But there are people out there that at his level that are going to understand his words. And I told him that. I said, you can write anything because they're coming from you, and you're going to have an audience that understands you. Okay? Because we all have people that are at our same level. Okay? No matter what that means. Okay? So I told him that he can write it. He has the ability. We all have the ability. So anyway, let me move on. And I'm sorry. I feel very passionate about that we all have the ability to create something. And when we tell ourselves we can't, it's just ourselves getting in the way of our own abilities. So, okay, I'm going to back up a little, because if you are truly stumped about your product, or if you are someone who maybe doesn't have something passionate that they know they want to create online, well, there are tools out there that can help you to create a product. If you just can't seem to wrap your mind around creating it, okay, so creating it yourself. So here, these are the various resources. PLR, okay, or resale rights product. Now, what is PLR? PLR is a private label. It stands for private label rights. It grants you the right to use content written by someone else as if it were your own. You can modify it or rewrite the material any way you like. You can insert your own name as the offer, and you can resell. You can sell it back, the material, to others. Okay. Now, oftentimes PLR is free. I've seen free PLR out there, but you know what? Free PLR is, in my opinion, it's not going to be the best content available to you. If you really want good content, good content that you can use, you should. It's going to cost you something. Usually, it costs like $5 for a decent pamphlet of good content material. And you know, the reason that you want to maybe purchase your content, is your PLR, is because your audience is intelligent. Your audience is going to realize when they're getting something that's not of good quality. So, you know, that's what you want to offer your audience. You want to offer them something good. So generally, you're going to have to pay for it. So we're going to move on. The next resource we're going to talk about is public domain. Now, public domain is when a copyright has expired, and anything before 1922 is considered public domain. And it's a really powerful resource depending on what your niche is. So if your niche is something like the Western architecture, like the Cowboys era, things like that, then this is going to be something that you can definitely use, or if it's something like Civil War trinkets or something like that, public domain is going to be a really helpful resource if that's what you're into, and maybe antiques. But now, if you have a website that's designed, that's talking about the best database out there for a Mac system, well, I'm going to tell you right now, you're not going to find it in public domain. So public domain is really wonderful for particular niches, and I really recommend you taking a look at it, because it definitely can help out with a lot of different things. And here's some resources, website resources, for discovering. Actually, let me go back. I want to talk about a couple different things. Oh yeah, here we are. Okay, PLR.